Hi guys, how are you doing? So today we're going to speak about the power of the self and how you are your own creator of your own reality. This was a super interesting channeling I did the other day. Um, you know, I usually invite different kind of energy, so I'm interested in a particular topic, then I'm going to ask for a specific energy or a specific consciousness. But every now and then, angelic energy or angelic consciousness just hijacks my channel. And if they have a message that is super important for the collective, they will just use me and bring through what they want to bring through. And Archangel Michael came through like that. So he has a very important message. I think it is an empowering message, even though somehow it can feel like, mm, yeah, he's not a funny guy in that sense. He's a very, very stern energy. And he's reminding us, I think, of that little trigger point that how we shape our reality is completely our own choice and in our own power. So let's get started. Let's jump right into this and let's speak about it afterwards. The self and the power it has, which is not quite understood yet by you all. We feel that while it is repeated often in many, many channelings, in many transmissions and messages, in the old texts even, the words became empty to many of you because you do not seek the deeper meaning behind those words because you have heard them so often. The self is mighty, the self is powerful, and the self is sovereign. So, what does it mean? The perception of you, the perception who you are, what you are, where you are, and how the world around you turns and spins, is really depending only upon your own self and how you view the world. And whether you view this world this way or that way is a choice, is your free will, and is depending also upon your ability to develop skills over the life, to have different outlooks on life, and do not depend so much on your emotions, which you are your own master of as well. So please distinguish between the self, your perception, your emotions, and your universe. And please know that how you live the life, how you perceive the life is depending only upon your choice of viewing it, upon your choice of living this. So when you feel trapped, when the body is narrow to you, when you feel its limits, when you are depressed on earth, when you have been run down by everyday life, by the repetitiveness of it all, by the struggle, and you decide that these heavier emotions are the most attractive to you, that you want to perceive them, and they kind of overwhelm you, and from now on dictate how you live your life and how you perceive life. It is a choice. So many of you do not wish to hear that because it takes the responsibility back to you. It brings the responsibility back to you. It gives you sovereignty, but sovereignty is responsibility, really. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot be the master without being a master.
If you decide to be a slave, then you must be the slave. Do you hear us? Do you hear what we are saying to you? We tell you, you can have this better life. You can have this better outlook. You can be the more happier. You can be all of this simply by doing it. Simply by perceiving your life different. Now, how this is done is also depending upon your own self. To some, the key is to look to the others and think, yeah, we are one group experiencing the same. I am one of many. I contribute to the all. My life is not as bad. I take great pleasure and take great joy in the company of the all. To others, it might be a different thought that will shape your reality. But whatever thought is most available and most attractive to you is really up to you. It is a slow process that when you start it after half a life, you cannot expect it to be turned around overnight, but you can expect it to be turned around for sure. The pleasure of having this life is something so rarely felt in Western society, especially. The pleasure of being alive is sometimes mostly felt in regions where people are threatened daily by climate, by hunger, by war, by sickness, by extreme poverty, by really diminishing circumstance. There, the value of the life is mostly felt. Isn't that curious that those most comfortable in their lives, those who have food, plenty, shelter, a bed, little worry about health, they do not value their life. So does that not make you think what the game is, what the aim is in the game? When you try to manifest so badly the wealth, the abundance, when you translate abundance automatically with money and wealth, the material wealth, does that not make you think that will not change your perception? Money won't make you any kinder, any wiser, any healthier. No, that is an illusion. It might make you more comfortable, but comfort is making you lazy and focusing only on things that are connected to this kind of world, to this kind of status. When you are stripped down to the bones, when you are in your true form, when you are reduced to what is you, what your life truly is and means, and what your life truly stands on, those two legs your life stands on. Is it money? Should it be money? Or is it something else? Those of you who have made this experience, to maybe have lost all, have been sick, life-threatening, have been scared to death by an incident, have lost all possessions due to a flood, maybe, or a storm. Those were the moments in your life when you valued something above everything else. And why is it so hard for you to hang on to that thought and expand upon it and turn your life around for good? We acknowledge that it is not easy to work within a society that dictates you otherwise. But we wish you to go within yourself and maybe even give up some of those things that take so much of your thinking, that take so much of your life's planning, and revalue your life. So your perception might be changed, so your thinking might be changed, so your emotions might be changed, so your response to life in general might be changed. The outlook you have on life is influence the decisions you do in life. The decisions you make in life is directly influencing all the others. So your little universe, the universe you're living in, will be a completely different one. Please remember that you have the power every day to completely turn around your life and your life's plan. Every day, multiple times a day, actually. No one is forcing you to stay in a life you don't like. No one is forcing you to stay in a body you don't like. No one is forcing you to stay in an emotional state you don't like. You shape your reality. Take possession of that. Take ownership of that. Take responsibility on that. This transmission was done by Archangel Michael. He greets you. He protects you. And he asking for your protection in return. Protect yourself. Protect your others. Be one of those who protect. Be one of those who serve. You can only protect, you can only serve, and you can only love if you truly treasure, if you acknowledge the value of what you protect and love and serve. He asks you to serve yourself first and foremost. You cannot become a protector without forming and shaping your own self. You need to protect your own self first.
Welcome back. So that was kind of a stern talking tool, right? I felt like a little child after receiving the transmission and rewatching it. But on the other hand, I feel it's very empowering because what he says is basically no external circumstance has any effect to the extent that we may think. So no matter what your job, no matter what your health, no matter what your life is, basically, no one is forcing us to live in a stagnant energy. So if you are not satisfied with your body, you can change it, you can take action. If you are not satisfied with your health, the same. And I kind of want to jump in here with a quick note because I do find that some people they actually do not want to be healed. And this is something I could probably have a whole video on about. Um, but really think deeply on it because it's such a great example. Some people they go to healer after healer, and what they don't realize is that they themselves have integrated the illness so much into their whole identity that they cannot let go of it. So this is a wonderful example of where we can take action and responsibility, move out of the victimhood, move out of this passive role that we sometimes take on in life. Yes, you can change it. If you're not satisfied with your body, you know what? Change your diet, do some exercise, look at your sleep patterns, look at your daily life. Where can you actually be assertive and take action? Sometimes, we cannot. Sometimes we don't have the money to go into a fancy gym, but we can still move our bodies, right? Sometimes we don't have money to buy the best vegetable in organic quality, but we still can have a pick here and there, right? So this you get what I mean. You can take action. We very much often only choose not to. That also goes for maybe revaluing our milestones. So I know for myself, when I was very young, I wanted to have a fancy car. I wanted to have a beautiful home, and this is very normal when we are all younger, because that is just, we are entering this world of materialism and we need to find our way through it. But when we have progressed a little bit, I feel like we need to really take a look at what can money buy? How do we feel afterwards? And always ask the question, and then. So sometimes when I have a wish that is something concerning money or something I need money for, I ask myself, okay, and when I have the money to buy it, and then what? And most often I feel like, oh, there's another goal then, or yeah, right, I'm not satisfied with that probably. I want to have the next best thing. And this is really a good way to kind of check in with yourself and your own goals. And most often I feel when I release stuff, when I really come maybe into um, situation where I have to let go of things or where I have to cancel memberships or something, there is this moment when I feel kind of relieved to not have to take care of this anymore. I do not have this extra added responsibility in my life. I do not have to pay for this anymore. I do not have to, deal with this mentally also. The same way that we sometimes really find this very threatening to think about reducing our online time, for example, or social media time, take away our mobile phones for a day. For some people, this can cause a panic attack. And for others, this sounds like heaven. And I think we all need to try these things out in order to find what makes us us. Where do we really have our trigger points? Where do we really get scared? Where do we feel threatened? Where do we feel relieved? Where do we feel blissful, happy, at peace? What does it actually do to you when you change your life's values completely? Have a look at it. What do you really, really need? Basically, I think there were so many good points in this. I urge you to really not only listen once to this transmission, but multiple times, especially if you feel triggered by it, especially if you feel, oh, what a nonsense, really listen. And let's work with the transmission more. Let's go a bit deeper. Let's look for the true meaning it carries for our own life. Maybe even discuss it with someone if you like. And Archangel's message is not something to be dismissed lightly.